From the Watergate Building in Washington, this is Hotline TV. Now, here are Hotline editors Chuck Todd and John Mercurio.
Hello, it's Hotline TV, and I'm Chuck Todd.
And I'm John Mercurio. We promised to insult the winners, and we're going to do just that today. Chuck, there were some bad campaigns out there. Some of them actually won. All right,
what happens in waves.
Let's talk about the nominees for the hottie for the worst winning campaign of the 2006 cycle.
Let's start with the two House candidates. We got our girl, Jean Schmidt in Ohio, too.
Sweetie Jean.
Oh, man. I mean, this mean Jean.
Yes.
She doesn't understand what it is to raise money. She doesn't understand what it is to...
Why should she have to raise money in a district that President Bush won by 30,000 votes,
right.
30,000%?
You know, why she should be, nice to fellow colleagues that she doesn't know. Why she shouldn't dress like a bad Olympic gymnast, you know, who looks like we're waiting for the Romanian guy to sort of carry her away, you know, as she pulls a muscle.
She's a marathon runner, Chuck.
She is. Some of those awards are a little questionable and all that stuff. Anyway, all right, she's definitely nominee number one. What'd she win by? A vote and a half?
Right.
I mean, you know, Steve Chabot won by more votes, and they actually spent money against him.
Bad year to be an Ohio Republican. Let's be fair.
No, I know.
But Chuck, at least she did not threaten to slap a man in a wheelchair.
That's true.
All right, as her competitor in this race actually did. Barbara Cuban,
the pride of the Republican
Congresswoman
Party.
Barbara Cuban from Ruby Red, Wyoming, winning the race by a scant 6 votes or something like that.
It felt like 6 votes. Like
Gary Trauner, one of my favorite early Democratic candidates.
But literally, did she actually slap? That was always what I was getting. Did she actually slap the Libertarian guy or no?
She said she put her hand on her back and said, "If you weren't in that wheelchair, I'd slap you." Although at least that's his account.
He actually has to use like his lungs to move the wheelchair, right? I mean, she was just like, "You're like, what are you doing?" Yeah, this is going to be tough.
And
we're going to have to postpone the awarding of this winner till the end of the show because I think they're still trying to figure this one out.
Yeah, all the accountants in the back are still working on it.
All right, let's go to our governor's pile.
Sure.
Our governor's nominees here. We're starting in Maryland, your favorite state, Martin O'Malley.
My home state, Martin O'Malley, Democrat.
He ended up winning big. Sure, he knocked off the incumbent Republican, but my God, in the last week of the campaign, they actually had to put Bill Clinton on. Bill Clinton didn't go on the air for anybody. I mean, you know, he went to rallies is one thing. You don't necessarily put Bill Clinton on TV unless you think you can't win Democrats.
When you are being out-polled, and actually on Election Day are out-polled by Congressman Ben Cardin in the Senate race, I think you've got some explaining to do to your Democratic Party about why you didn't do better.
Where they've hired a campaign staff, and then the brother, the brother and Martin and his brother they like to run their own show.
On the other hand, look, as we've said before, Bob Ehrlich, the Republican governor that he beat, ran a very good campaign. So he was up against a real talent, and he's the only Democratic candidate who unseated a Republican.
But the new governor needs to realize. You got to let your staff do some stuff. You can't make every decision. And so it'll be interesting. I think he's going to have a rough 6 months. Let's go.
Our other nominee, Republican Governor Rick Perry. Come on, let's be honest. 38% in a four-way race, but a 38% victory, so to speak.
Kinky.
Is kinky four-way. A kinky four-way with Grandma.
Yeah.
You can ring my bell. Woo! I got him on fire today.
Perry basically made the decision. We're just going to win, barely.
Right.
And
they did.
And they did.
But as we've mentioned before, 38%, and every other candidate was to his left.
This was a guy that some of us thought, would try to suddenly try to make himself a national presence, but not when you only win with 38%.
Well, and here's the problem for is he going to preside over the downfall of the Republican Party in Texas? I mean, that's something I think a lot of people are concerned about. He may end up being the longest-serving governor in Texas. Like Sam Houston wasn't governor that long. So let's give the hotties.
And then we have 2 senators.
Oh, we haven't even talked about them? I forgot about them. Again.
All right, number 1, Montana, John Tester. Here's a guy that led all year long.
By big margins.
And then suddenly almost blew this
Conrad Burns, the Republican senator, gave him everything he could. Here, you want to hit me on this? Here, go ahead. Take that. Smack me. Yeah. Here, smack me again. Here. Yeah. There you go.
Guatemalan boys, Swedish guys. I mean, he insulted everybody, and yet...
Taxi drivers who kill at night.
Burns almost pulled this off. Because there was this lacklusterness about Tester. He was sort of coasting. I mean, you almost got the feeling that Tester decided to coast.
I think they ran an excellent campaign through the summer and then thought they believed their own press. They heard that they were running such a good campaign, and they thought they had it locked up.
So it was a good campaign for a while that sort of forgot how to close. Our other nominee.
Also, I think not even a good campaign for a while, but a campaign that didn't know how to close.
Our other nominee, Sheldon Whitehouse, in which when I first brought it up, you said, did he win? You didn't even remember that he won, which tells you everything you need to know. And let's be realistic. A Sheldon does your taxes. Oof. A Sheldon you know, is your accountant.
Right.
You know, as our friend Billy Crystal says, humping and pumping and winning campaigns isn't what a Sheldon does. You know, there's something uninspiring about Sheldon.
Sort of like a Phil Angelides.
It is.
It's sort of like a Phil Angelides.
It just sort of says, yeah, he's Sheldon.
Right, like a Barbara Rodanovich.
I mean, in all honesty, why? I mean, he won despite himself, right? I mean, Chafee ran the better campaign. Chafee did everything he was supposed to do,
right.
And Sheldon won.
Let's give our winners here. All right. In the house.
Schmidt. I say Schmidt happens. Right?
Schmidt happens.
Schmidt happens, baby.
Schmidt
Bring
happens.
her back.
What about Schmidt?
Bring her back.
Bring her back for more. Not Cuban down. In the, where do you want to go next?
Let's Governors.
Go to the Governors. We've got to be Rick Perry.
Has to be.
Got to be. Got
he's
to
pretty,
be.
Though. He's a pretty loser.
He's a pretty loser.
Pretty winner.
He's a pretty big loser too.
And he's the biggest loser.
And third, in case you couldn't tell by our vitriolic appraisal,
I know.
The fact that
he is a senator.
I refuse to believe that he is actually a senator-elect. I don't, Chuck. Until someone can write in with certifiable proof that Shelley, I call him Shelley Berkeley, that Shelley Berkeley is in fact the new senator from Rhode Island.
I don't know.
I refuse to believe it.
Sheldon Whitehouse, J.B. Persh is going to be so mad at us.
That's all right.
He believed in it. 2 hotties down, but the best awards are still to come. Join us tomorrow and keep score. I'm Chuck Todd.
And I am John Mercurio. Join us Wednesday on Hotline TV.